It's Mark and Cindy on the radio, 10 to 11 a.m. Well, it's Mark and Cindy, they've got a morning show.
Good morning, everybody in Montgomery County, especially Willis and Conroe. We are on Lone Star Internet Radio, and you're listening to Mark and Cindy, Mark Hader, Cindy Cochran. And
I'm almost ready, Cindy. Just a second.
You're almost ready?
Yeah.
He's playing with his mic. And
Yeah, I had to turn him off because he was sitting there just playing with it.
when you see this on YouTube, the visual, we are recording, right? Are we recording?
You know,
Okay,
I would like to say,
then-
Cindy, we have got one terrific show. I don't know that it'll rival yesterday's, but I think it will.
You think?
Yeah. Oh,
What
yeah.
are you going to talk about?
Well, I don't know. That's what we're getting ready to find out. I said I started that thing by saying I would like to say, but I don't know. And but I'm wagering.
I know we're going to talk about something. We always talk about anything, and we never know what we're going to say.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it.
But we'll
I
tell
like
you what
that.
we're going to say, even
Yes.
though we don't know it.
We pride ourselves on that.
Yeah.
Because we have got like 100 and something years, let's see,
Oh,
120
man.
years of experience between us and life.
Wait a minute. Are you counting me? I'm sorry. Yes,
Oh,
Cindy.
that was so
that
cold.
was low. That was
was
so
Richard
low.
holding up
No,
cards
the-
for you to
the
read?
sound. I'm sorry, Cindy. No, I've.
And you're not including me, right?
Yeah. That's,
Yeah, no, we're not
that'd be
including you.
Sheesh.
Because your life experiences are not really there yet. Just wait. Okay, so anyway, I do want to talk about, we never got to it, about the FCC ruling from the U.S. District Court and also C-SPAN 2 that
I'm going to have to
was
look at
talking
C-SPAN
about.
too. I don't know if it's brother to Fox or what. I don't know, but I will try
What?
to find out.
C-SPAN 2 is just some guy that's paid by...
Oh, it's one guy?
has the camera set up, and it's just like this one, and it's just sit there and it listens to whatever the congressmen are saying and what questions they're asking the people they brought in to
You
question.
should call in and be like, "Who's the cinematographer on this show? We need to fix this camera."
I need about 2 more different angles on this thing, and it's like
It's opinion.
no,
it's
no,
not
it's
the
action.
news.
The real.
it's not opinion.
It's not. He's just listening.
No, this is a legitimate
No, this is
recording or
Yeah.
a guy
broadcast.
listening to other people talking. It's not opinion.
no,
No,
no. I'm saying that there's a camera set. It's just a.
It's your favorite people. It's the government
That's
talking.
right. The locked off shot of the congressman questioning, grilling different people that they bring in.
It's just the. Okay.
Yeah,
It's,
so
it's what the government really does.
Okay.
And it's raw. It's raw.
No, see, my challenge to you, Cindy, if you
Yes.
ever have an opportunity to be in that room, I want you to knock the camera. I want to see how
Yes.
long it takes for them to fix it. Because I guarantee no one's like you and
Nobody's
watch
even-
it. No one cares.
no.
They're like, oh, we got a call from last week. The camera's been knocked over. We got to go fix
And they
it.
never have a shot from the other side watching the cameraman.
Your
you know,
carpet's
doing
really
it.
dirty.
I
What do
feel
you-
so bad for those guys because they don't care what these people are talking about, and they got to stand there.
It's like book TV.
Yeah, they don't. They have to be there. But it's interesting what went on to listen to people that are a lot of them our age, Mark.
Oh, yeah.
And
They're
they're
up
having people from the technological industry talking to them about things that they want to get changed and what can Congress do about it, and they're trying to figure out what are you talking about.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was a fun show. So sometimes those shows are very interesting, educational, and depressing at the same time.
Oh man, no
Oh,
kidding. Isn't that the truth?
the same time.
Don't get me started.
But anyway, a lot of fun things have been happening. Have you heard about the Junior Broncos? Have you heard about the new reality series, Junior
No.
Broncos?
Oh my gosh, another reality show. I can't wait.
Wait till you hear.
Cindy, continue. I've got to get something straight here.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead.
Okay. Can you turn the camera off? What is he doing?
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm tangled up in my.
He is tangled up.
See, this is what happens when you just walk in.
Junior Broncos, the Junior Broncos reality show is talking about this group. I don't know if it is actually a league that I think it is a league. They play each other. The teams play each other football, but they're little kids. This is like 6 to 10-year-old kids that they are using on the show, and these coaches are like they're they're coaching the NFL and that
Yeah.
these kids are being paid millions of dollars to play here so they can talk to them any way they want to and treat them any way they want to. And these poor little kids are wearing these humongous safety helmets, and the coaches are getting right in their their face, and they've got so much grill between the coach and themselves and plastic and all this stuff trying to. It's just fun. It's kind of funny looking, but the coaches are making them go through the rigors of what a professional athlete would do, and talking to them about drawing first blood. You're the one that's got to be out there, and it's horrible. And then the parents, it's talking about the parents' side to it, and that the parents, when interviewed, said, well, I wanted my kid to be playing football where they actually take the score, where they score what's going on.
So it's like the beauty pageant reality show, but with football.
Yeah, not the dancing,
or whatever
the
that.
lady,
Yeah, like so it's just like that.
Just exactly like that.
Well, hopefully they're teaching them the proper way to hit.
Oh, any way they can to get the other guy down. It was so, come on. You just got to hear it. It's all guttural junk that's going on.
You don't think it's real, do you? It's reality TV.
I think it's so real that this happens. This goes on.
That's interesting. I watch it. Can you bet money on these games?
You know what? No, I don't think they actually show a whole game. It's all behind the scenes. It's all what the parents are going through, and the parents that feel bad for these little kids. They're just babies, and they're trying to make these babies act like grown men and be so competitive, and the parents are driving them on, and it's having this one kid is crying, and he says, I'm going to throw up, and the coach is going, you're not going to throw up, just come on. He goes, no, I think I'm going to throw up because I ate some food. You ate
gotta
some
be
food.
Fake. I can't see Mark. Mark would probably start crying if he was on the field.
Well, the receipt
there's
was
no question about
the
that.
the receipt was the chunks he did hurl afterwards. So he
Good.
did throw
That means
up.
he was
and-
working hard.
He says, "Okay, now you go run." But anyway, it's a new show coming out, and there's a lot of controversy about this. But because like Samuel went to and played sports at the YMCA. Now, we put him in all that. We put both he and Cindy in these sports because we wanted to keep them busy and athletic and all that stuff. But I didn't know that they didn't keep score. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that's what they stopped doing that.
Yeah.
They're trying to keep it where everybody wins and everybody's happy and all
And
that.
then everyone gets a trophy
And everybody
for a
gets-
scoreless
everybody
season.
gets a trophy. And I'm out there, before I knew this, I'm out there on the sidelines. Get him! Come on! Don't let him do. I'm like one of those mothers. They all turn around and go like, well, where did you come from? What century did you
that's that
just
mud
come from?"
wrestling woman.
Yeah, it must
what
be
is
the-
she doing here?
So I really had to get into the culture deal about you don't keep score, and this is all that way. Well, these parents want the score. They want to know. They want that kid to work hard, and if he gets something, then he's going to deserve it because he worked for it. So there's no balance that I've found so far in children's athletic sports thing. It's either one way or the other. But this is going to be an interesting show, I think.
It's hard to exaggerate what goes on in children's organized sports, but this will be an exaggeration, I'm sure. Tell the coaches, here's what you do this, the kid will cry, that's super, and it'll be interesting for some, I know.
Well, what's bad about these and the dancing thing is that the kids are part of the show, and they're the ones being yelled at and all. And I'm sure they had a lot of, like, look, this is going to happen. She's going to be yelling at you, but don't take it personally. And when she does these things, that's how she is. And when she yells at you, when the dancing, I can't remember that mom's dancing. Anyway, she was a tyrant. And these coaches are doing the same thing. So I think they're telling these kids to be sure and, sorry, my droid went off, to actually, don't get upset. Don't let this hurt you. But they want the kids crying and they want the kids upset. And I feel bad for the kids. If it was the parent, just about the parents.
Oh, it's
cool.
the children. So this is one of the things we're going to talk about today?
I just did.
Okay,
Done,
good.
done. That one's done.
Done and done. And I'm sure there are others.
I was supposed to give you just a synopsis, right?
I know,
Sorry.
I realize that. That's okay, and it was fascinating.
I'm already DVR'd it. It's already being recorded.
I wanted to make mention of the fact that Neil Diamond is coming Saturday to Conroe. I had no idea.
To Conroe?
Yeah,
Really?
but it's not really Neil Diamond. It's a guy named Rob Garrett who is an impersonator, and I have every confidence that he sounds better than Neil Diamond does today. I don't think back in the past. But here's what gets me about it. It's at the Crichton, where I've heard one concert there. It was by the guy who sings about the horse. They call her Wildfire, whatever his name is.
Oh.
Michael Murphy Murphy-Mun. Anyway,
I like
it
that.
was very good, and he sounds beautiful. And he said this is the best sounding auditorium he's come to. Well, this guy's coming. I love Neil Diamond's songs. I've got just about all of them through college. It was super. Best songwriter I've ever heard.
just knew it.
The tickets over there. $43 to see somebody impersonate or to
A
listen
piece?
to somebody. Yes, a piece. 33 for students, so that's a deal. I have been to 2 Neil Diamond concerts, and even if you include inflation, it didn't cost me that much for both of them together. I
guess they're
do want
having
to see it.
Having to
though.
make up, they don't have the volume that they can.
Exactly.
you know, so they
This
have to
is
charge.
he doesn't need a microphone or anything. He won't.
very
in this
personal.
It is that.
You want to get up close to.
Isn't that what
This guy.
the Crichton Theater's become? That kind of venue. Like
Yeah.
I think pretty much every price you go there, it's going to be above $40.
Yeah.
Even for
It's-
the kids shows. No, I'm just kidding. I think those are very inexpensive.
It's
Come
for
on.
the elite, but I may fork over some money and do it without telling Kay. And I mean, she's coming, but I'll have to do it after the fact.
Well, you should keep her home, and you could save half. I mean, it just cost
Exactly.
you half.
That's a thought. Thank you, Cindy.
well, I'm just trying to
make
help
mention
out
of that.
that relationship.
You know, speaking of Kay, I'm going to mention you went through the football, and I've got to not watch that. But she says something today, and these are the things that just come out of the blue, you know, that kind of sink your morning. And they usually come from out of Kay's mouth. She said, Mark, you know, my toilet is loose. And, you know, I'm sitting there.
My
reading
toilet
the paper
seat is
trying to-
loose?
No,
Oh,
I
the
wish I
whole
said the
toilet
toilet seat.
is
I can fix
rocking?
it. No, the whole toilet is rocking. And, you know, to a normal person, that's nothing. I'm sure just tighten a couple of things. But for Mark, who's not normal, that's big. It's going to turn into a fiasco. But being oblivious to stuff like this, I really like. I wish Kay wouldn't mention stuff like this. Just let it go away, Kay. It will go away. But now I've got that weighing down on my brain.
Call the
And
dirty birds.
the dirty birds, yeah, that's true.
They love
would
that
come.
kind
I
of
need
stuff.
to mention that.
It's a dirty job.
Hey, dirty birds, if you're listening, I've got one problem, and it wasn't even yours. It's the flooring. It's coming up right at the very end where they stopped. And
I'm
anyway,
sure that made their day. They were happy you mentioned that.
I had a hammer out. I was going to beat the heck out of it in case it. No, why don't we
Hold
call
on.
somebody? About
Yes,
that?
I think that would be the perfect thing to do.
I
is
love
to
those
hold
two
off.
girls, by the way,
Yeah, we need to have them back
know.
on again and talk about cleaning.
Kirsty and Teresa.
Yes. Well, you know, yesterday when Peggy was here, and we said before the show, we were talking about how we can say anything we want to on the radio. Richard gives us all kind of freedom.
Oh man, we've got what you call your
More than we
leeways.
need, and that FCC is not watching over us, and so it's okay. But it's not the problem with FCC. It's that politically correct. We can't say, you know, words that like we love God, and if we were on commercial radio, that would be very difficult for us to get
Yeah,
away
if
with
it
saying
was,
those kind of things. They wouldn't allow it, and being patriotic and all that stuff. So she said, you know what, I'd like to hear the anthem or do the Pledge of Allegiance or things like that. And I thought that was so cool. And we went home yesterday after school and picked up the kids, and the flagpole had blown over. Our flagpole
Whoa.
blown over, and so Cindy went and picked up the
Bless her
part
heart.
with the flag on it. It's
Her
pretty big,
granddaughter.
and I said, you can't let it touch the ground. She goes, it already fell on the ground. I said, no, the flag can't touch the ground. And she was trying to hold it up. She says, my arms are hurting. I said,
She's 2'6".
yeah. And so then I said, and then she took it and she twisted it around so it's upside down. And I said, no, that means that we're in trouble. You can't show the flag upside down. It means that. She goes, what am I going to do with it? What do you do with it? I said, we have to put it back up there. And so
Sounds like one of those junior Bronco coaches over here.
Really?
well, I was
I'm
trying
glad
to teach
she
her
knows
the,
no obscene gestures, Cindy.
I was trying to teach him the rules of the flag, but she started running around with it like those flag,
Oh, yeah.
and letting it ripple. And so I took a picture of it, and then I said, I'm going to Facebook this, and we're going to put the pledge on. So I started to say the pledge. Remember, I was telling you that I'd gone and I'd done a man on the street thing, trying to get people to say the pledge, and a lot of them could not remember the pledge. They couldn't get it all the way through it. And so I said, okay, I'm going to put this in here, and I started putting the pledge down. And I got to the point I went, wait, this doesn't look right. Is this right? No, wait, is that? Yeah, that's what it said. So I told them, I said, let's all say the pledge together. And they went, yeah. So they said, and I went, yeah, that was. So I got it right. But I put that on there, and then I wanted to thank the people who serve this country and for our freedom, and that don't get discouraged, that we lift you men and women of the military up in prayer like every day, and we try and pray for all those who serve and for God to protect them. But it was good. It was just like I put that on my Facebook and boom, I got so many likes. That's
Wow.
I think people we forget sometimes to do that, and that's a good it was just a good reminder, and I thank Peggy for bringing that up.
Thank you, Peggy.
good. She's so good. Listen, you're listening to Cindy. You're listening to the Mark and Cindy Show. And I'll share more airtime with Mark when we get back from these few messages. And please, if you want to call and talk about anything, we're ready. 936-647-3776. And we'll be right back.
Living on the earth, ties of hope and love, of sister and brother.
At Jazzy Junk, volunteers reclaim, restore, and recycle. Jazzy Junk is a non-profit resale storefront where you will discover wonderful, unique finds at very affordable prices on furniture, antiques, books, art, home decor, and more. When you shop Jazzy Junk, you support New Danville, a community for adults with developmental disabilities. We receive new donations daily, so plan a visit to Jazzy Junk today to find that perfect item or gift. Our motto is here today, gone today, so remember to hurry in and shop often for the best selection. Jazzy Junk is located in the outlets at Conroe on League Line Road and I-45 North. Call 936-441-4500 or visit our website, jazzyjunk.org, that's JUNQUE, for more information and store hours.
It takes something special to make it in the business world. Montgomery County is fortunate to have a diverse pool of industries and businesses. Join me, Cassandra Roshan, Director of Membership Development with the Greater Conroe, Lake Conroe Area Chamber of Commerce, for Mind Your Business. I will sit down with our chamber members to talk history, community involvement, and get some tips of the trade on how to be successful in our current business environment. Tune in on the third Tuesday of each month at 11 a.m. to hear from our members of the Greater Conroe, Lake Conroe Area Chamber of Commerce talk about their professional experiences. I guarantee you will walk away with insight of how to mind your business.
Together in our desire to see the world become a place in which our children can grow free and strong. We are bound.
James Taylor.
Back again, Cindy.
No, you're listening to the Mark and Cindy Show. Good morning, Montgomery County, Willis,
Yeah, don't
Conroe,
forget. And once again,
and the
Splendora.
Woodlands, and Splendora's not.
There is, speaking of Conroe and not Splendora at the moment, which, by the way, they're going to have, what was it, Disneyland's going in over there or something big? It was for many years ago.
I
and
remember, yeah.
Something about canoes or whatever. Who knows what it
I
is,
don't
but
know.
folks, it's in Splendora and it'll come in the year 2525. I have every confidence. But we have so many things to mention. I had the Courier's ticket, and Cindy stole it from me. I was going to mention a few things. One is a review by Brad Meyer on the. I mentioned this because Peggy Miller was here yesterday, and she lives in Walden, and it's on the Walden Yacht Club. They've got a restaurant that is actually public. I thought just people in Walden got to eat there. I've eaten there.
Oh, so you
and
don't need to
probably
be a
have
member
too.
of the country
And
club?
you don't need a
No.
yacht.
You don't
Well,
need a
yeah,
yacht?
it helps if you have a yacht. But they do have a dress code. You have to wear slacks and I believe you can't wear shorts, in other words, and a button collar shirt.
Do people have yachts here?
Do they have yachts? Yeah, we need, if you get past, if you head west, not as much east, but if you head west, you'll see a bunch of stuff. You don't know what these people do for a living. I don't know.
But they have yachts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what?
For the lake?
Real yachts. Here in Conroe.
Yeah. It depends on what you call a yacht. I
Yeah,
mean,
okay, well-
it's one of those relative terms, and Dick, you can look it up and
That
you
you
can find
don't
all
have
kinds
to-
of stuff.
Well, I
but-
feel like it's one of those kind of barber kind of scenarios. You can't have a barber pole if you're not a qualified
Oh,
barber.
right.
So can you really
Yeah.
call yourself a yacht club if you
I
don't,
don't know if
actually
you
have
can.
qualified
That's-
yachts?
Yeah, you have to have yachts, but you don't have to be a member of the Walden Country Club to go eat.
No.
And it's on a boat off the water. It's in the water.
No, it is not. It's on the water. It's a building, and
I
they
thought
have.
I thought they had one of those.
Talks. I've given talks there, and I've got to eat some of their stuff. But I don't. I was probably the poorest person who ever went there and talked to them, and I don't know if that's true or not. I just. But they were very kind and all, even to me. And their food, according to Brad, you need to read it and find out what he has to say about it. Because I don't want to say anything, or the courier will say, "Hey, you're stealing our stuff," which I am here. But
We
the
always
courier,
do.
That's in the ticket, right?
it is in the ticket.
Okay.
They got many things. That's where I saw the Neil Diamond thing, and also in their, or maybe it's in the Chronicles preview. They've got who's coming out on the Houston Rodeo. Have you
Robin
seen that?
Thicke is coming.
Robin Thicke. Okay, explain him to me.
Well, he just got sued by the Marvin Gaye family because of a song that he has that sounds just like Marvin's song. And today one of the radio stations was playing it back to back, and it does sound too much like it. I think they've got a case. I think they're gonna
Oh,
get
what's his name?
Robin Thicke.
He did that deal on the something awards with Miley Cyrus,
Yeah.
where they were bumping and grinding, and
He got a lot of exposure on that.
he did not as much as Miley, but
You hang out with maybe you guys should hang out with Miley. Invite her to y'all's next mud wrestling event.
Would that
it's
be
mixed wrestling,
It's-
Dick.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's,
I thought mud was a lot of y'all's thing.
you
no,
know,
I started that. That was my fault because I looked at it, and then when I came away and saying, whenever you come to the Mark and Cindy show on YouTube, you will see a mixed wrestling little. It's a little picture, but boy, it's not nice. And so there's a Mark and Cindy team that does mixed wrestling, and so we're trying to put on a lot of shows so we can drive that further down. Whenever you first go to YouTube and see the Mark and Cindy show, you're going to see us instead of them, mixed wrestling. But Richard gets a call after we talked and did all that disclaimering. Richard gets a call, and he wants to know, well, now what's all this mud wrestling thing that you're going to do? So we probably
Oh, it was more of a humor call. It was because they heard y'all talking about it,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Oh, hey,
Wow.
great. Watch. They'll have their own reality show, and we did it. We helped them get there.
You know,
So-
speaking of trains coming through town, I don't know if y'all can hear that one, but I walked the railroad tracks once between Conroe and Willis. It's 10-point-something miles once. And you would be flabbergasted, speaking of squirrel moments, what is on the dadgum tracks? I mean, to the side there's 55-gallon drums, but there are 5-gallon buckets, and there are, like on the drum, I pulled it off. It was partially empty. And I pulled it off, and it has XXX. It says, don't, if this touches your skin, immediately cut your skin off. And that is
Great.
going on the tracks right now down there.
Yeah,
You-
this makes it sound real homey. Can they hear the train? Do you think, Richard?
Hear the train.
I mean, if you keep talking about it."
Yeah.
You know, at the Crichton Theater, you can hear it. I was in the middle of a play, and that dadgum train comes by.
you
and
can?
you
Well,
cannot
there's two trains.
ignore it.
The one,
there's
behi-
one that-
the
yeah,
one
there's
over
one-
here going north to south. That's the louder one because
Oh,
it's
okay.
literally
Right.
behind us.
Okay. Well, see, I don't
That
know
is
how
so
many
funny.
trains were there the night I was there, though. It could have been two, could have
Soliloquy.
been one, but I was there, and you normally ignore it. Is
Mm-hmm.
the thing to and just stop or whatever. But you're standing there, and the audience is waiting. Oh, the train. And I said, I was playing in the Nerd, and I said, if I had $45 more a month, I could get an apartment away from these stupid railroad
That's
tracks.
great.
And the fear of that is
That's
trying to remember
great.
your next line after you
Yeah,
deliver that.
and
Well, the
the-
crowd,
start
they really
laughing,
thought
yeah.
it. And
That's
but it was
how
scary.
quick
I don't.
for you.
Well,
that was good.
when you hear that, you've got a moment to think
Yeah.
because and it's scary.
But it shows how hometown we are, and we are right
It
in
is
the middle.
that.
In the middle of Conroe and broadcasting live Monday through Thursday. And you can always call us at 936-647-3776. But when people are driving and listening to us on YouTube, on their phone, the archives, and we keep saying this, because a lot of people listen to the archives, and I think, now are they going to go home and
I
write that
do.
down
Oh, I'm sorry.
and call us, and call us right now? But actually, we're looking for the people that are on the computer, and they're listening to us, and they can call us from there, and it's much safer.
My favorite is when they call in while they're at work and they're like, "Hey, I'm listening to your show," and I'm like under my cubicle. And I really want to talk about what y'all talk
Yeah, we get that a lot.
Yeah, it's difficult. But I think it's just that people are so mesmerized by what we're saying, and to think that they could add anything to what we have said.
Is it scary?
You know,
Cindy, speaking of mesmerization,
Yes.
I wanted to read to you the names of these people who are at the not the livestock show, that's what we used to call it, but it's the
Right.
2014 Rodeo Houston deal.
they're going to start calling it Rodeo. I know it any minute.
Rodeo. And when I read them, I don't know these people.
Mark.
Well, I know Brad Paisley. He's going to be the first one, and I know him because he's got the hat.
He's
and
so
he was on a
cute.
show, and some actress took his hat off. I don't know how but you never see the guy without a hat. Which these country western songs, bless their hearts. Singers, they come on stage wearing a hat, and you don't wear a hat inside a place, but they have to because you won't know they're country western singer. Well, let me tell you this. We know you're a country western singer. Take the hat off occasionally. But Brad Paisley, and by the way, phone in and yell at me about this.
I think that's also part of their get up.
It is, no question.
Well,
It's a costume.
who sponsors them?
But
Because
you see-
people always say, "What kind of hat is this guy wearing?"
I hadn't thought of that. But when Peyton Manning goes on the Johnny Carson show, Jay Leno show or something, he doesn't wear his helmet. He takes it off. Yes, he's a football player, but that's just... And Bum
What an
Phillips,
analogy.
But you're not thinking about,
That's
are
a
you
good
been on
analogy.
stage with all the lights? Maybe that helps them.
I'm sure that's the reason. That's
Well,
got to be the
those
reason.
guys wear sunglasses.
Eli Young Band. You familiar
Eli
with that?
Young? Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh. Usher, I've got his cologne. Selena Gomez, I do not know.
Oh, Selena Gomez.
She's powerful.
That was Justin Bieber's girlfriend, right? I think
See,
that was Justin
now I
Bieber.
know.
Yeah, that was Justin Bieber's girlfriend. She
Boy,
was
I hope
on
he didn't
Wizards
mess
of
her up.
Waverly and all that. So she's a Disney.
I wonder
Product.
if those tattoos on Justin are real, do you think?
Oh, this is hilarious. He got caught coming out of a brothel,
Oh, my word.
and they're running him out the side door. The photographers are there, and they've got they've got a sheet. Are you not paying attention
Yeah,
to what
I
I'm
am.
saying?
We're both listening. I don't know how much.
And they've got this his handlers and his bodyguards, they've got this big sheet over him to cover him from being recognized, and they run him into the car. But the photographers that took the pictures, he's got all these tattoos all on his arm and stuff, and that, so they knew it was for sure Justin Bieber coming out of a brothel. 19 years old. That's just pitiful.
And he'll pull through that. When you
Oh, yeah.
think of the stars things. When you think of the stars who have done, I think of Pee Wee Herman. Really like him,
Oh,
and
my
I thought, wow,
word.
that'll kill his whole routine. Well, he's coming back gradually, and that's great. Hugh Grant. Oh my gosh.
Is it the rodeo?
No. I'm sorry. Let's get back to the rodeo. Anyway, he did something that I thought, wow, he'll never survive that. But yes, he did survive it. And that's
Yes, he
great.
did.
That's because we
We forgive.
celebrate that kind of behavior.
Yeah, at times we do. There's no question. REO Speedwagon, I have heard of. Jason Alden, Aldean, never heard of. He's going to be on Tuesday.
I don't know who
Jake
that is.
Owen, how about him?
Nope.
Okay, Maroon 5.
Yes.
Okay, what kind of music? Country western or?
I have no idea. I've heard of him.
Keith Urban, I've heard of him. Good-looking guy who may be as good as he thinks. I don't know, but he comes across as a nice guy.
All these bands
more or less.
you're mentioning,
Yeah.
most of them are on Lone Star Internet Radio.
Exactly.
Just letting you know.
And
I'm just gonna
but
plug
you-
that.
And
That.
you've heard of
Good
Jake
plug.
Owens here. I don't know. Hunter Hayes, Banda MS, Luke Bryan, Robin Thicke. You mentioned Florida Georgia Line. Wow.
I've got to get tickets for Robin Thicke.
Yeah.
For my son-in-law.
What kind of music
just
is that guy anyway?
loves him.
It's
Because
way
he's not
back
country.
when we. Yeah. No, he's not. He's nothing
Not
deep.
pop.
There are no what you call your. What do you call the ballads or anything? It's
So he's
just
like a newer
come
Frank
swing with me,
Sinatra?
baby, and do
But
your
he's
thing.
really good. He's got a good voice. I know.
So he's like a newer Frank
He's got a
Sinatra.
look.
And you know whose son he is, right? You remember Alan Thicke?
Yes, I do.
That's
he,
his son.
not
Good
talk,
looking-
yeah,
yeah,
talk
the-
show guy, and had a
And he
TV
had a-
show on.
Yeah. Good
Wow.
looking. Family.
Anyway, we've just plugged the.
You forgot probably the most important one. They have Reba McEntire.
Really? She's
How
coming?
she didn't make this, I have no idea.
It's on her website. She's on Thursday, March
Okay.
6th. That's the first concert I've ever been to at the rodeo. When
What
I was
about-
6 years old, she was there. That was the
Reba
first That's who I saw.
Really?
My dad took us, and he's like, "This is probably the best night for family."
Yeah.
And he likes Ray McIntyre.
Yeah, Sam likes her too.
How about Alan Jackson? I don't see him there.
No. But you missed Easton Corbin, Zach
Yeah,
Brown.
he's there.
Zach
Yeah.
Brown band's closing out the whole deal. And you forgot Banda MS and Paseo. That's on the Go Tejano days.
Yeah, I mean,
He said those. He just didn't probably pronounce
Yeah,
them
I'm
correctly.
sure it didn't.
Well, he always gives that tone. Like Paseo?
Yeah.
What is that?
I'm trying to
know
learn
who
to talk
they are.
like Dick, and I'll get there. Rodeo ticket prices $18 to $21, upper level
That's not bad.
$10. Well, what do you see at the rodeo? I've never been there because I really don't like
Wow.
rodeos.
Wait a minute, Mark.
Whoa.
You grew up
Yeah.
in Pasadena.
No,
and
he's
you
he-
never
me-
went to the rodeo?
he goes to the
No.
Crichton. He does the $40 or more. He won't go anywhere that's under $40.
I
Yes.
did see the University of Houston and UCLA when Lou Alcindor was playing at the Astrodome, and that wasn't a rodeo, but it was pretty dang good.
Oh, man.
And speaking of pretty dang good, has nothing to do with a lot of things, but we are getting ready to take a break for some good stuff. And when we come back, this will be our
Just-
third segment.
Just a couple of
We
minutes.
have
We'll
got
be right
so
back.
many things about JCPenney and emails. Please
Oh,
send in
yeah.
your emails.
You're listening to the Mark and Cindy Show. We will be right back. Don't go away.
There's a hunger in the center of the chest. There is a passage through the darkness and the mist. And though the body sleeps, the heart will never rest. Shed a little light, oh Lord. Let the light, oh Lord, again, so that we can see.
Tune in at 3 o'clock every Wednesday for Aperture and Shutter Speed with me, Tom Moore of TR Moore Photos.
And me, Dick.
If you are an amateur or expert, or if you haven't ever picked up an SLR camera before, Aperture and Shutter Speed is a show for anyone who loves photography and film.
Join the conversation with us by calling in or emailing us your questions. If you want to know what's coming up on Aperture and Shutter Speed, just look up our show page on irlonestar.com or look us up on Facebook.
Join us every Wednesday at 3 p.m. for Aperture and Shutter Speed, and remember,
Take your lens cap off.
The Conroe Art League is a nonprofit entity promoting the visual arts in Montgomery County. They've evolved over the last 49 years into one of the premier artist groups in the greater Houston area. The Conroe Art League is now permanently housed in the 100-year-old recently remodeled Madeley building in historic downtown Conroe. Exhibits of local artists, sculptures, and painters are changed periodically in the downstairs gallery with admission free to the public. Art classes and demonstrations in a variety of media are provided in the upstairs studios. The mission of the Conroe Art League is to encourage artistic development and cultivate an appreciation of the visual arts through education, exhibitions, and community outreach. For more information, call area code 936-756-9572 or visit their website at www.conroeartleague.com.
It was on at the Coliseum, not the Astrodome, when it started.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
and I saw Mad Bull, Wild Bull Curry, and Tokyo Joe wrestling because somebody bought me a ticket and said it'll be interesting. It was scary.
Is that
Oh.
what started your interest in mud wrestling?
Pretty much. No, it's mixed
You kept
wrestling. I
thinking-
can't get past this. I do not like mud
know,
wrestling.
I know.
I don't like it.
But,
But,
Mark,
uh,
you said you had never been to a rodeo.
No,
there.
I
Where
don't-
wait, let me explain
Okay,
to everybody
please.
that you are on the Mark and Cindy Show, and right here on the Lone Star Internet Radio, and Mark is having still trouble with his mic. It just
Oops,
has a mind
okay.
of its own.
It
wants
does.
it wants to be in front of a taller person. Is the problem. But anyway, you grew up in Pasadena, Texas, and never went to a rodeo. I am so
No,
shocked.
I've been to rodeo in Pasadena, but I never went to the big one. See, I don't
That's
like
right.
that many people for one thing, unless I'm at a sports venue. But when I'm watching, you know why those Broncos bronc?
Yes, it's. Oh, don't talk about.
I know that's.
just-
I don't.
oh.
Every time I see the horse go out, I think, oh my gosh, that hurts. And the bull and all. I don't. That's sad. And then they show sheep and all. Dog shows. What do y'all think? Y'all. How can you pick the best dog? I don't know. This is Curly. This one. Anyway, deals with animals. I love animals. I just don't want to be responsible for them, and I don't care to watch them.
And
buck
that you
and
felt
all.
responsible sitting in there at that age. I don't understand that, but I can't believe you never went. But I'll tell you what, though, I grew up in Houston, and went to the rodeo a couple of times, and that was enough. The smell. Because it used to be in the Coliseum, and part of the thing was to walk down and look at all the steer, the cows, and all that stuff. But the smell was so horrible. Oh my word! It gets in there and it stays in there for days in your head. And then when you go and you sit there and watch it, and it's so big. It was so big and so much stuff going on. And I didn't know anybody in there. If I'd known the people that were trying to wrestle down the cows, or if I'd known somebody, maybe it would have been interesting. But to watch them come up and kick the guy off, and I just, okay, I need to do something else. And that was back in the day where this was a big deal.
Yeah.
You dressed up, ride the bus downtown, and it was. So that was my feeling about the rodeo. And I think, but you got to go at least once. It's a Texan thing to do.
I guess
It is.
there will be people there.
I mean, they have a parade
Oh, they do.
all the way down Memorial. Yeah,
Do they
it's
still
huge.
ride horses?
Yeah,
forever?
that's the parade.
Yes.
That used to be a big deal on the news all the time. They'd show them riding from Splendor, show them riding all the way down
Traffic's
from
awful.
Buffalo, Texas, and all. And
I love that when I was a kid, but as I got older, and I knew, the rodeo's in town, and I'm going to have to wait for these horses to go all the way across.
That's why they have the Go Texan parade here
I've heard about that.
in Conroe.
Did
Yeah.
they have?
Did we cover
Yeah,
it?
they have a parade here that's kind of saying like, hey, I think it's in the first week of February or something like that. It's
Oh man,
the Chamber of Commerce helps put it on.
And it goes down the
Yeah,
main.
it's got horse
Will it go
poop and
past us?
everything.
yeah.
I'm scared.
You
Okay.
guys, I mean, you know why this happens? Because Mark doesn't care
I
about
don't
going
care.
to the rodeo.
I know that's
He's too busy. He's
But
too busy about the
now-
octagon. He's
You know-
moving on to the octagon.
when
now
they
he's ready.
have the Montgomery County Fair. When I was teaching, and that's in February, isn't it, or March?
That's a big deal.
Oh, it's a big deal.
Big
And when I
deal.
was teaching, the kids, so many of them are involved, and I love the children, and they need to be involved. But some of them are out for the whole dang week. They send teachers, 6 sheets of paper telling you who's not going to be here, and they're excused, and you're getting your grade book out. Okay, this. It was a pain. I think they're doing better now, but I love, and I don't want to slow down the fair and all. They've got great things. They got pie making contests for
Yes,
the children,
right.
and
And all the food that's there.
Most importantly, they have the county fair queen, and I was invited to go meet them.
You got to meet them.
I'm invited to go introduce.
Wow.
What about-
for Media Pass?
wow.
What
Media
about
Pass.
Judge? You got Media Pass?
Media Pass.
Hey.
Well, we're going to
we
be
need get-
in, at least
you
me,
got-
and I'll
aren't
try
you-
to drag your buddy.
No, I think aren't y'all gone on Martin Luther King Day?
No, we're here. We're here.
Okay.
We're going to be here.
Anyway, we'll be the
I can see what I could do.
MC of the.
I don't know about Mark. Mark will probably be too sympathetic.
Anyway, Dick,
towards
we'll
them.
be the
The
MC
pet
of
fair.
the pet.
The
Parade, it's
Pet
called.
parade. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
if
try
we
to do
can,
that.
If we can get that gig.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
would be- 'cause
there's
we can work
nowhere else
ourselves
after
up.
that.
We
yeah.
can work ourselves up to being able to judge contests.
I tried to get Kay on stage for that, and she doesn't. She did it once, but she was too shy. She stayed to the
shy?
side. But it is so
is not
difficult
shy.
to announce animals' names, get their names straight while they're waiting on your foot and all, and it's a fun gig. And
Okay, but
like it.
I've got a question. Now, PETA, who's very active and involved in taking care of the animals and making sure the animals are all good, and they're working hard to pull the horse and carriage thing off the streets of New York because they think it's very cruel to have these animals pulling around. Why have they never got involved with what makes the horse buck at the?
they have.
They have.
There's
But there
no
is
way
so
they're
much
gonna be able to
pressure.
touch
There
that.
is a lobby that we're going to tie those testicles. I don't care what you do, what you say.
What's funny about
You
that?
can take that horse's testicles
at one
from my
point-
cold dead hands.
At one
when you-
point, people were hanging out, and this is just so country right here. They're
you
hanging
think?
out, and they're like, "Hey, let's ride these things, but let's make it more extreme. Let's tie up their private parts and see how it goes." And then
See how
that
they
was about
react.
150 years ago, 200 years ago, and we're still doing it.
Yeah.
Well,
I
they're
enjoy
probably
the
trying
rodeo,
to
though.
train the horses, and they first put the saddles on them, and thought, if you put that a little tighter, look at what they do.
Really?
But
I can't believe
how
they'll
these
do
things
that.
happen and evolve, I think would be
Yeah.
funny to find out. That would.
Well,
be
if you
interesting.
live out in those areas, it's kind of like you grow up being a junior bronco, or you grow up being a roper. Like that's
Right.
what they do for fun, for their extracurricular activity. Instead
Right.
of playing baseball or football, they learn to rope. They learn to tie up steer. They learn to ride broncos.
Right.
So,
And they don't think that bothers them. They probably think it makes them, I won't say feel good, but they think that's fun.
what do you think is going to happen to those horses in New York? What do you think is going to happen when they stop working?
When they stop working?
I think you'll
They
be
turn them
using
to
them
glue?
as some
I
kind
don't
of adhesive at some juncture.
I mean,
it happens
let's be
all the
realistic
time.
about the situation. What do you think is going to happen to those horses?
Right. Well, PETA's not going to take them in and adopt them, and so that's what is so ridiculous is these horses are being fed. They get a lot of petting. They get a lot of attention, and so now they're going to try and
Well, horse
ship
meat's on
them
the
off to-
rise. I
You
hear.
know, there are so many things to get
Yeah,
upset
horse
about.
meat may be the deal.
Horse carts
Horse-
in Central Park. I don't know.
Conspiracy
One thing
theory.
you need to get upset at or scared
Is
about
what?
is Armageddon, which is apparently coming because, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you're aware, but day before yesterday there was an earthquake in Reno, Texas.
Reno,
Close to Fort Worth, I think it was.
Reno, Texas
Maybe
had an
Odessa.
earthquake.
Yes, 3.3, which isn't much, but if you're on the dadgum at the malt shop there and they have the earthquake and you've got the banana thing going with you and
Yeah.
all, it's scary.
That probably was scary.
Yeah.
Had-
So anyway, so they're here in Texas.
That's in Texas. It happens. We thought only hurricanes were the problem
yeah.
here, but okay. Now speaking of
Earthquakes?
C-SPAN,
Oh yeah, C-SPAN. Back to that.
they had a group of copyright law attorneys talking to the Congress, and they want them to come up with a way that they can stop people from sharing and taking their client's product, the artist's product,
Without paying it.
without paying for anything. And trying to discuss that was horrible because the people are saying, well, what would you want us to do? And they said, well, you need to pass legislation that these the carriers, or the servers, the carriers are responsible for. I'm talking about like YouTube and all that are responsible
channels or whatever, yeah,
and
networks.
to pay these, for the rights for them to play these songs. Now, YouTube, of course, is taking down a lot of stuff because they don't want to get in this fight and all. But they finally came up with, it's really the responsibility of the person who clicks on that not to download it. And the guy said, well, that's right, but we've got to have a way that we can punish them for doing that. And he goes, well, how would you know how they did that? And he goes, well, that becomes the difficult part, but we need to, it's like there was no way to resolve this, but they want to protect somebody's song. And everybody wants to put their songs on the internet, and they're trying to build their audience. And like Richard was saying yesterday, he said that it's the live music is where these artists are really making their money. They have to get out from under like the record labels and things like that. There's only a place that they can start making money for themselves because they take everything from them.
You know what else they do? I found out. I was reading more about that yesterday. Apparently, Katy Perry, her group, they bought tickets and then they resold them on like the StubHub or like.
I've heard about that, so that they can't scalp them. That they resell.
But they charge
them.
more.
Well, they said that the scalpers don't get the money; that they get the money for them. But
they're still charging more.
Yeah, that's sad. That's really sad because you
Pretty
think
smart.
they try and help.
Pretty smart.
No. Well, I mean, that's so sad because these poor little girls who love Katy Perry would love to see the concert and can't afford the stupid charge that they have on
If
it.
they open the door, that's how they sell tickets. They open the door, and then I would say at least 60% of those get resold of all entertainment.
Yeah.
Except Neil Diamond. I'm pretty sure that guy.
Yeah. They're not going to
That's
resell
true.
those for higher than
But the
$43.
problem is that on the internet, there's no way that they can figure out how this person downloaded it and when they downloaded it and how they tax them and all that. And they're trying to figure out how they can get in and tax them and get them to pay for these like iTunes and that kind of thing that you pay, you used to pay $1
That's not the
for.
government trying to figure out how to tax. It's corporations saying you can't give this away. It's free enterprise. It's our thing. We're selling it.
No, but the government's trying to figure out how they can bring FCC and licensing in, and so
Because they're being begged to by these corporations.
well, they want them to stop it, but the government has been trying to figure out how to get in, not just for artists and that kind of thing, but it's all kind of anything being sold and the trade that's going on in the internet.
That's what the Lone Star deals with. We're a special sect of royalties because we're on the internet. So I actually have to pay additional to the government because I'm on the internet.
See, they figured that.
That's how.
know,
well,
Because there's already a set up standard for radio playback. There's like different groups who have control over the music. So there's like BMI, ASCAP.
Right.
So you're already paying to those people, and then since we're on the internet, we pay additional. So I pay to a fourth party, which is the government.
Well,
Let me say this about that before we continue on this. Anytime a move is made to do something, for example, unemployment 7-point-something%, it's more than that, but it's 7.7% people who can't find a job who keep looking, and so they get food stamps. Well, the government says that's good for 3 months or 6 months, and they're getting ready to cut it out. And the Democrats say, well, we need to increase it. And conservatives say this: no, until you can figure out how to pay for it. Well, one way you pay for things is to tax individuals, and that's where you get money. If you don't, what do you do? What do you do? They say, well, cut out a bunch of programs. Which one do you want to cut out, sir? Which one do you, well, this and that. Well, that doesn't amount to a hill of beans. In other words, governments function based on taxation, and when they're regulating something, that's where they get their funds. That's an area where they can get their funds.
But
by the way, speaking
don't
of
get
which,
me started. Wait a
I
minute. If they can get their boot off the necks of the businesses so that they can
Oh, here we go. Well, no, going back to your FCC
they have
thing,
regulated
Cindy,
them down where they can't.
it's
what,
important for
grow.
the
So the
FCC and
next,
especially the royalties because they do. It's true. The artist needs to get paid, and that was one of the most interesting things. Basically, researching how to do the radio is I had to pay these people. And I'm like, all right, so if I pay these people, why am I paying them? You always got to ask that question when you're paying, because
Right.
of course it's simple, like, oh, I want a cheeseburger, so I pay this guy for a cheeseburger. But with this, the way it's supposed to do, it's supposed to trickle down to the artist, because I don't literally say I'm paying you X amount for this artist that I played. You literally, it's a summary.
Right.
So I have no idea if that artist is getting this money. They don't show me how they
No,
do it. It's literally
no.
I'm paying a flat rate to get, and I hope he gets some money. I mean, I don't even know.
Yeah,
you
that's
ask an
right.
artist, especially for the government, because when I was dealing with them, their party, that was even more ambiguous. I was like, this is kind of weird, because if I'm already paying these people for what you're supposed to be doing, why do I have to pay the other ones too? I was like, why am I paying 5 different people for the same thing?
But you see, the artists started
So-
taking their control back, and they started.
I hope so.
Well, because they started telling the record labels, look, guys, we do all of this, and you determine what expenses are before you start paying us our profit. That's all your determination.
Yeah.
We have nothing to say on it. So those poor guys would be doing this, and they get nothing. So they started taking back control, and it really killed the industry, because they said, like Dave Matthews Band, like, I'm not going to have any affiliation with the record label. I will go out, I will make my own name, make my own money, and we'll produce our own records and leave you out. And that's
Conroe,
what they-
Texas, is
and that's
this
what they
the
did.
area we need to go? Right now, where we need to go is to a few words from our sponsors and promos for other shows that are coming out. When we come back, we'll have an encouraging word, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Mark and Cindy Show.
We'll be right back.
Don't give me no light, no doubt. Don't give me no light from the TV screen. No, no,
Hi, I'm Joyce with the Corner Pub in downtown Conroe. We're located at the corner of Simonton and North Main, just across the street from the courthouse. The week starts off Monday with open mic hosted by Alan, and Tuesday nights open mic hosted by Jeremy Bankhead. And on Thursday evening, McFarland Jams. There's nightly drink specials available every night, all night. And don't forget, live entertainment every weekend. To see a full list of events, visit our website at thecornerpubinconroe.com. So come join us at the Corner Pub, where the deli is open late.
Howdy, howdy, folks. Cable Smith, host of the Lone Star Outdoors Show, inviting you to join me Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 on Lone Star Internet Radio for Texas' premier hunting, fishing, and outdoor talk show. So pour yourself another cup of coffee and pull up that stool a little closer to the old campfire, because if you can catch it or kill it in Texas, we're going to talk about it. That's right. Bucks and ducks, gobblers, monster bass, redfish, trout, and a whole lot more. Plus, you never know what outdoor celebrity is going to drop by, from Phil the Duck Commander Robertson to fishing legend Bill Dance or everybody's favorite uncle Ted Nugent. Heck, we might even mix in an interview and hear some brand spanking new Texas music from one of your favorite Texas musicians like Robert Earl Keen, Brandon Ryder, or the honky-tonk kid himself, Aaron Watson. Loved or hated but never ignored, it's the Lone Star Outdoors Show with me, Cable Smith, Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 right here on Lone Star Internet Radio on irlonestar.com.
Hello, this is Dennis Nelson, inviting you to come with me through the doorway of imagination and into the theater of the mind. The Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour presents a play every Saturday night at 7 p.m. on Lone Star Internet Radio. Be it drama or comedy, thriller or love story, every exciting episode is carefully chosen straight from the golden age of radio and performed live by talented actors, musicians, and sound effects crew. Every sound you hear will be 100% live and homemade. Anything can happen. So join us, please, every Saturday night at 7 p.m. for the Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour, right here on Lone Star Internet Radio.
And recognize that there are ties between us, all men and women.
You know what, Mark? Mark always has the last segment and does the encouraging word. And I was reading Ephesians 4:29, and Ephesians 4:29 says, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, only that which will build up the person, and according to their needs." And this is what you should do. This is how, and that people around listening to you talk to the person will also benefit from it. Now that's the NIC version of that, but that's what it's in essence is saying, and it's so true. It's the encouraging word. Mark, you need to go to the bathroom. The bathroom is right back
I'm
there,
listening. I'm
and
listening perfectly. The show's almost over. I got to finish my call.
And so I thought that is so true that we need to encourage each other by things that will help you and according to your need, according to Richard's need, according to my need, and not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth. And that was pretty clear. It wasn't like, hey, sometimes we get mad and sometimes we say things, and sometimes we get upset and we say things. But it says don't let that come out of your mouth, because that's not going to help anybody, and only let things that will encourage someone. So it's important that we have an encouraging word, during the show, especially at the end of the show, is to encourage people to feel better about themselves. But we're supposed to be giving everyone encouraging words and encourage everyone and bring them up and lift them up, and don't do anything that will take them down. And I think that's an important lesson that everyone, I do this, and I'll say things to the kids, and I'll go like, oh, why did I say that? Because that just brought them down. And like when Kay says something to you about the toilet.
Oh, man, don't get me started.
And so a lot of times teachers, especially like teachers that they get up in the morning and they have to go whatever they have to go through, and if their husband or the kids or somebody just tells them something, or a friend calls and tells them something that's not going to help uplift them, and they're going to go take that to the kids to teach the kids. So It really is a small thing, but it's taken all the way through the day. And when you say, Mark, I appreciate you so much, and I'm so glad you're here, and you have got such a great sense of humor, got such great sensitivity, and that is something that you will take with you through the day. And I mean it. I'm not saying that just as an example. I mean that. And you'll take that through the day, and when you're feeling down, you'll think about that, and it's like taking that out and going like, okay, I am that way, and I am. But it will help people, and I think that's what we've got to probably work on with all of us, to just say things that are good for you, that will help you and feel good about yourself. And I know there's constructive criticism. I'm not being stupid about it. I'm just saying that, but not let unwholesome talk, and that whatever you define that as, unwholesome.
Yeah.
I don't say the B word. I don't say that.
Yeah, you don't say Godzilla, stuff like
that's
that.
Right.
I know.
That's right. And that stupid movie's going to come out, and now what am I going to do? Because the kids are already saying, can we go see Godzilla? I went, no, just say the Monster Show. And they go, what? And so I'm going, oh, dear, I'm passing it down to the next generation.
You're right. It's so much easier to be, it's not that hard to give encouragement, but we act like it's the most valuable thing in the world, and we hate to let loose of it.
Yeah, because I don't see anybody walking around with a sign on their chest saying, please don't give me more compliments. Please quit telling me I'm important. Please, I can't. It's enough already.
Yeah.
That we're very hungry and starved for it and dehydrated for it, I believe.
You know, I've got one quote that has not a whole lot to do with that, but I think it can apply, and it is this. Kay mentioned this to me the other day, and I think it's pretty powerful. And it's about parties. It's called the heck thing about parties. The hell of parties is this. Those people who are interesting at parties don't want to talk about themselves, and those who are boring never ask you a question. They have no questions. In life, if Mark could pay attention to that with respect to, when you're having a conversation, the number of people who just talk about themselves and don't share an encouraging word for somebody else. And there's a bunch of us out there. That's scary. Well, encouraging words, that's a good thing to...
David Lowry posted this, and I was supposed to talk about it yesterday, and I forgot. He said, listen earnestly to anything your little children say that they want to tell you, no matter what. Listen to them, because it's a big thing to them.
Yeah.
And then when they get older, if you don't listen to the little stuff, they won't tell you the big stuff. And so it's very important to listen to them because it's all big stuff to them. And it is with anyone. When they want to tell you something, confide in you, listen to them.
A great thing to go out on here on the Mark and Cindy Show on this Thursday.
Beautiful,
it's still
sunny
morning.
day.
Beautiful day. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Tomorrow, by the way, is our best of. And next week, Monday, we will be back here, Lord willing, 10 o'clock.
We have a very interesting
Mark and
week
Cindy
coming up, so do not miss it. And go to the archives, YouTube, The Mark and Cindy Show. And remember, God loves you a whole lot more than we do.
It's Mark and Cindy, they've got a morning show. Every day I listen in. We're gonna talk about what's going on in town. You never know who's gonna come around on the Mark and Cindy Show. It's Mark